Figured it was about time to start talking about some of that zombie black magic. Now, what do I mean by that? Especially for any newcomer. Might not have seen any other videos. Jesus, what is this guy talking about? Let's go ahead and look up any of my other videos with the term zombie or narcissist in it, and you'll get the idea. Glossary of terms coming soon. But anyway, when it comes to the zombie black magic, well, I mean a number of things. One way you can look at it, and I'm going to go ahead and link the video in either description or comment section. It's a Sam Vaknin video where he basically discusses some of the more clinical terms of what happens, the psychological and unconscious dances between the zombie, aka the narcissist, and the target, survivor, whatever you want to call them, the quote romantic partner, or whatever, interpersonal dynamic. And those descriptions are great. However, they don't really communicate to the rest of the body, if you will, to the unconscious, some of the experiences. And the thing is with the unconscious, it tends to understand things symbolically and in stories. These are languages that the unconscious speaks and understands. And also, of course, feelings and sensations. Also speaking the language of mythology. I would argue there's a number of reasons for that. Some a little bit extra, but nevertheless. And I'm going to use language that is a little bit extra. And you can make of it what you will. If you don't like that stuff, well, think of it as a useful fiction to explain what's happening in another way. That conveys just how extreme and serious this stuff is. Now, a lot of zombies, this is just their operating system. This is the black magic, if you will. It's the side effect. The electromagnetic, the spiritual, whatever else, energetic side effect of their operating systems. And being all involved with the Necronomicon, metaphorically speaking. And here's a few examples. One is the gravitational pull. That's the typically most prominent in the romantic entanglements. Then you have the zombie's glamour effect. This can be very enchanting, especially in the beginning. And even throughout, to some extent or another. And even sometime after, going no contact, and what have you. And of course, we have the zombie's reality distortion field. And depending on how many enablers and flying monkeys and other zombies out there you can spin its lurid tales to, its lies by structure and omission and presentation, historical revision, blame shifting, scapegoating, all that. And then of course there's also the idealization. This is another bit of zombie black magic. In a strange way, they identify with themselves through you, so they just juice your ego up with all kinds of neurotoxins, making you feel all fancy. It's not to say you're not fancy. You probably are very fancy. But you probably got some wounds that make you feel not so fancy. So that zombie comes in with that zombie black magic, like, oh my. The zombie feels very good about itself in these times too. Because in part, it is identifying itself through you. Then we have the zombie whirlwind. And this can occur in a number of ways. This can be an extension of the zombie's reality distortion field. This can create a maelstrom effect, sucking you in. It can stir up some drama or something. Try to get you pulled on in, to get you back in there, get you back in the shit. Then we have another field. This is what I like to call the suppression field. Part of the reality distortion field. To get you entangled in the zombie's fiction. But the zombie's gotta be king of the hill in hell. Which means you have to be its subordinate. Artificially, of course. So it's gotta do a bunch of things to suppress you. Suppress your natural expressions. To drag you down. Then we have the zombie's depression field. There's a fair amount of folks out there claim of depression, and of course there's a myriad of reasons that can cause that. God knows what else. But knowing what I know now, I wonder how many times it's like, okay, are you depressed or are you being depressed by a zombie? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not any kind of licensed psychologist or anything like that. You can't use anything I say to diagnose or anything like that. I'm like a reporter or something. Creepypasta real-life reporter, something in between, depending on how you're looking at it. I don't know who'd go around using, terms like zombie black magic to go diagnosing anything, but I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, I know it. I knew it all along. It's the zombie black magic. I mean, it is, but, you can't go around saying shit like this. Because there's another bit of the zombie black magic, and that is the crazy-making behaviors. And these are so many things the zombie will say and do and utilize its black magic on you over time to make you feel and look crazy. Especially when you're trying to point any of this convoluted shit out that you don't know how to explain. And you'll be in such a state at that point, you can sound like a fucking lunatic. And the zombie loves this, because it can point at you and go, look at what I have to deal with. Look at all these problems that you have. You need help. You need professional help. You're so dramatic, drama queen. Never mind, of course, that secretly all along, the zombie thrives on cultivating drama. It needs this for fuel and sustenance. Keeps it excited and all that. Hopped up on zombie fuckery and all this. And of course we have what I like to call the street rat Game of Thrones zombie magic. And this is where the zombie likes to triangulate you with damn well near anything, but especially other people. They like to try to make you jealous. What's really amusing is you're not the jealous type, and it just gets confused when you're not phased with the jealousy. You might not notice it at the time, but looking back, you notice this little dun-dun-dun-dun, system failure. But aside from that, even if you're not the jealous type, if the zombie is hell-bent on figuring out a way to make you feel jealous, it'll do it, especially if it's spent so much time with all the other zombie black magic dragging you down and putting you in an artificial state. Some kind of strange subordinate in its fantasy, playing king of the hill in hell. Here, as a matter of fact, here's a real-life example. One of V's lurid tales. It's a quick one. This was about month 3 or month 4 for me with the zombie. Before the first time, I had to break things off with it. Just couldn't take any of this shit anymore. Anyway, I was laying down and lamenting about how so many things in my life had just gone to shit and how I was having the hardest time making do and more in all the ways that normally work for me. And some. And the zombie climbed over top of me and said very matter of fact, he was kind of drunk, by the way. Sometimes zombies get a little cocky and arrogant after a few drinks. And they say a few too many things and let some weird shit slip. Anyway, it said to me, that's because my magic is stronger than yours, and I'm blocking you. Yikes. This remark had, amongst many other things prior, this was getting into the territory where the benefit of the doubt was getting stretched pretty far. Even for V over here in the swamp and his unconventional life and all that, this was pushing it. And, even if I wanted to try to bring that up, talk about it, because I thought about it later. You know, you bring something like that up to the zombie, it's the same playbook. Like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You heard that wrong. I was just kidding. What, you can't take a joke? In fact, I wasn't even joking at all. I didn't say that at all. What, are you fucking crazy? Fucking crazy. That's the real problem here. Look at all these problems you got. You're fucking crazy. You're the one that's got all these problems. Why don't you do something about these problems? Except you better not get rid of me. You know, because that'd get rid of a lot of these problems, wouldn't it? But yeah, you can't know that. I won't admit it, either. No. I'm the zombie, king of the hill and hell. I've got all the answers. And you better believe it. In fact, I need you to believe it. I mean, I really do. But you or else this whole racket falls apart in a minute. But you know, don't you go thinking thoughts like that. Don't you dare go bringing it up, because even if you did, I wouldn't even know what you're talking about. You're fucking crazy. That's the problem. That's the real problem. You're fucking crazy. But the zombie is not this straightforward. The zombie is a lot more convoluted and master of plausible deniability. This is another bit of zombie black magic. Somewhere between the magic and the street rat Game of Thrones shit. Now it gets to the point where I like to call it the implausible deniability, because the zombie will deny things that are right in front of it. And it's very confusing for somebody to be so steadfast. And, you know, it's like they believe their own bullshit. And I think they do, kind of, at least for a time. If you've been whipped up enough by the zombie black magic, you could probably start believing some of the dumbest shit. If the zombie's coming in all this is the way with it, you might just think, oh, maybe there's something to it. I don't know. Maybe the sky has been yellow all this time, and I just didn't notice. What does blue mean anyway? Is blue even a thing? I don't even know anymore. What did the zombie say? Zombie's the one who said. The zombie said it's got all the answers. I don't know what to think anymore. You know, it seems very confident about this. Doesn't seem to be very fruitful or anything, but I'm not supposed to think about things like that. I'll get in trouble. I don't want to set the zombie off. Ugh, then I'm really in for it. That's another bit of zombie black magic. Intimidation. And it doesn't have to be physical by any stretch. It can just be that it's gotten to know you and mind you for so much information. It knows how to fuck with your nervous system instinctively to keep you on edge at all times. This keeps you under coercive control. And another primary contributor in the zombie's arsenal of zombie black magic is the essence transfer. This is when the zombie, through all its other uses of black magic and machinations and street rat Game of Thrones, playing King of the Hill and Hell, and feeding tubes, siphons your very essence, if you will, and transfers all of its crap into you, hollowing you out, feeding on your good stuff, and dumping everything it doesn't want. Everything within itself. Essence transfer. Now, we're talking about a pretty extreme zombie in this case. There's a lot of them out there that are a lot more subtle, and they're not as overly and egregiously catastrophic. But this one is a pretty extreme example, and it's got most of the bells and whistles, so I figured it was a good case study, so to speak. But anyway, yeah, that is, we'll go ahead and call that part one of the zombie black magic, because there's more. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time. And for crying out loud, you know, like and subscribe. Leave a commentary in the commentarium below. Come on. We all know the drill around here. Help me out. For crying out loud.
I'm just so confused about Uncle Fred, Detective V.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Edna. I did a little snooping around, and I'm pretty sure your Uncle Fred is not who you think he is.
Oh, God. Is it true? Is he a zombie?
Well, I can't be 100% sure yet. I gotta stay on the case for a little while. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. But based on the preliminary investigation, it's not looking too good for Uncle Fred.
I just thought this is too much. It's so hard.
I know it's hard.
It is. It really is.
I know what you mean. I've been there.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Edna, if it makes you feel any better, why don't you join me? My dirty little cabin in the swamp tonight.
Oh, really? Would that be okay?
Oh, absolutely. It's a bit of a haul to get there, and it's kind of a pain in the ass, but, it's all right on the inside. Here and there.
Thank you, V. I'd really appreciate that.
No problem, Edna. No problem. And hey, maybe after a little while, we could do something a little weird, if you know what I mean.
Oh. You mean like sex?
What? No. God, no. What are you, fucking crazy? I was talking about organizing my evidence locker. I'm not very good at that sort of thing. I heard you were a secretary. I thought you might be able to help me out.
Oh.
Yeah. God, what were you thinking?
Oh, I don't know.
All right, look, Edna. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Don't be embarrassed. It might come as a surprise, but I get this sort of thing all the time.
I can see why.
I know. But look, I don't want to burst your bubble, and who's to say, anything can happen, especially when organizing the evidence locker, in the evidence room, especially. But, you got to keep in mind, I'm a professional here. I can't just go talking about things like this out in the open. Besides, it breaks the mood. You got to build up to these sort of things. Come on, Edna.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Think about it for a minute.
Yeah.
You don't want to just come in there right out the gate being like, want to go to my dirty little cabin and have some sex?
Yeah, when you put it that way.
I'm just saying, I'm not judging. I'm just saying. So, you want to have sex in my dirty little cabin by the swamp?
I think it could help.
Yeah, I do too, frankly. I'm a professional, after all.
So is this going to count like as payment?
What? God, no. You fucking kidding me? I'm a professional. That's tedious work. It's hard work. I expect to be paid in full for my services.
Oh, I understand.
Oh, yeah. I got overhead and everything like that, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'll see you at the cabin later tonight, okay?
Okay.
I'll pick you up in the dirty boat by the moat. And we'll get down to business.
Okay.
Okay, great. Pick you up around 7.
Okay.
All right.